Wesley So versus Magnus Carlsen. Superbet Rapid and Blitz Poland 2023. Wesley starts with e4. Magnus responds with d5, Scandinavian. Pawn captures pawn. Queen captures pawn. Knight b goes to c6. Queen a5. Pawn d4. Knight g to f6. Knight f3. Bishop c to f5. And bishop c2. Pawn e6. Bishop goes to f4. Black square bishop to b4. Pawn a3 to force the bishop to captures knight. Bishop takes bishop. Then queen goes to b6. Pawn d5 push. Knight b to d7. Pawn takes the e6 pawn. Bishop recaptures pawn. And bishop captures bishop. Queen recaptures bishop check. Then queen blocks the check. Magnus decide to have a queen exchange. So captures queen. And Magnus castle queen side. Rook h to e1. Knight d5. Bishop evades being captured. Pawn f6 push. Pawn b3. Pawn c5 to threat bishop. Bishop goes to b2. Knight b8. Wesley hide his king to f1. Knight c6. Rook a to d1. Knight d5 to e7. Pawn to g4 to prevent knight f5. Rook captures the rook. Other rook recaptures. Rook to d8 to offer another rook exchange, but Wesley So declined. Then king to d7. Pawn g5. Rook f8. Pawn captures pawn. Pawn recaptures the pawn. Knight goes to d2. Magnus pushes pawn. Then Wesley bring his knight back to f3. Pawn b6. Knight jump to g5. Pawn h3 threatens knight, but Wesley ignores, then check the king. King to c8. Bishop g7 threatens rook. Rook to g8. Bishop captures the pawn. Knight jump to d4. Pawn h4 push to defend knight. Rook h8 to threatens bishop. Bishop g7 threatens rook. Rook captures pawn. Bishop captures knight. Pawn recaptures bishop. Knight f3 forking rook and pawn. Rook check the king. King e2, the rook exchange happened. King recaptures rook. Pawn d3 push to destroy white's pawn structure. So declines and push pawn c4 instead. Knight c6. King d2. Knight f5. Knight defend the b3 pawn and threatens f5. King d7. Wesley captures the free pawn. King d6. Pawn b4 to threatens knight. Knight jump to b7. Knight captures another free pawn. King e5. Knight d4. Pawn to a5. Knight position to e2. Magnus captures the pawn. And Wesley recaptures it. Knight goes to d8. Wesley So is winning here as he is to pawns up. Magnus Carlsen trying to find ways to draw the game. But when the game reached this position, Magnus decide to resign and Wesley wins the Blitz game against the world champion. Subscribe, like, and share.